Hello and welcome to the show. Now, every now and then I've got some very famous person that comes to visit me, this time from Cape Town, and somebody that everybody knows as a radio and TV personality. Kia Johnson is here, and she's going to tell us about her life and the new show, Life with KJ. Kia, welcome to the show.
Thank you, welcome.
Now, you're an interesting personality, but we're going to get into all of that down the line.
Okay.
All the little things that define you as Kia coming along the way, but television started somewhere for you, like all of us. Mm-hmm. Television started somewhere. Sometime it was a stream, sometime it was the singing in the bathroom, sometime it was all kinds of things that led to that. Did you know that you were going to get into television at some point in your life?
Funnily enough, I was doing radio for a couple of years, and I thought to myself, you know what, I give myself about a 5 or a 10 year mark before I'm eventually going to get into TV. And
So
it
you
happened
knew
a bit
it.
sooner. I had this feeling, I was like, why not try it out, you know? But for me, it was first master what I was busy with at that point in time, which was radio, get good at that, and then I can go out there and start trying to get into television.
Was some brand building that was going there?
Exactly, but you know, honestly, I just thought to myself, like, I'm not TV material. I think I also kind of gave myself that long extension thinking, I don't look good on TV.
So how did the TV thing happen? Because, look, I mean, people start in television, you can either go in with a bang, or you can go in with these smaller shows and you develop along the way, and then you get more, you sort of get more comfortable and you take on more serious things.
Yeah.
So how did that happen for you?
I was actually working for the radio show that I was doing. I was working night shift at the time, you know, and that was quite taxing. And I had a couple of voiceovers to do on the day, and the gentleman that was handling the voiceover said that they're doing an audition for Take 5, which was
This was
the
with SABC
educational
at the
youth
time,
program. Yes, it was featured on SABC 1, like I think 4 p.m. or 4:30 or something, Mondays to Fridays. And I said to him, no, I don't want to do this. And he said to me, no, you should definitely try it out.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, word, give my age away. I think it was around about like 24, I think, around about 23, 24, around about there. And I remember going in and I did the audition, and you know, SABC Cape Town Studios has got like, and they actually came down from Joburg to do this. They've got like this really large, almost like, I guess you could say like an amphitheater, you know, where everybody comes in there and does concerts and really good sound quality. So they were doing it there, and they told us all to take the script and go into another room, learn the script, and then a few minutes later.
But was this like a mass load of people?
It was only a few people.
Okay.
That actually was like, I think about like 10 people or so that were there on that day that I was there. I don't know how many auditioned, but it wasn't an open audition. It was just a few people that they came to come and audition, and I just happened to be there. And I remember this like guy with the camera, who later on I found out was actually my boss.
Oh.
He comes with this camera and he's like zooming in my face and stuff. And I've got this big fever blister on my lip, and I'm thinking, yo,
this is not going to be.
I feel so terrible.
It's not going to be your big break. That's what
you know
thought,
what I'm saying? And I remember I also had on this bright orange like shirt, but he was bigger than what it is now. It was like really big. And I'm thinking to
You're from
myself,
Cape Town,
what
of
am
course.
you know? I don't even know what I'm doing here. And I did it. I actually managed to soak up quite a bit of the words from the script, did a link to camera. And they said, okay,
but you
fine.
had a radio background at this time.
Yeah, so a little bit of an
So you felt
advantage.
okay about this?
A little bit, yeah. But still, having a camera in your face and, you know, speaking into this thing that's zooming in, it's a very
intimidating feeling.
Yeah, and very unnerving as well. And I remember it was about a week later, and I mean, I wasn't getting paid a lot of money at the station I was at. I was starting out. You all got to start somewhere, you know. And I had like a $2 in my pocket, because I was like, did I get this job now? Nobody's phoning me. And they said they were going to phone. And I'm in Kenilworth Centre, which is in the southern suburbs in Cape Town, with my cousin. And I said, but hold on, man, I'm just going to phone the number and just find out from this guy if I got the job. And I phoned from the T box, and like, you know, the public phone, and I'm, you know.
Oh, this must be back in the day, because where's the cell phone?
Sorry, but back in the day,
from the public phone,
you know,
okay.
but I, like I said, you know, I mean, that time it was those block phones, you know
just
what I
gave away
mean?
your age, but that's fine.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, so I'm, you know, on the phone with this, with, you know, the boss, and I'm chatting and I'm saying like, do I have the job? And he sits there and not sits there, but he says to me, no, sorry, you don't have it. And I remember my heart just, it's not like I had an expectation, but I was kind of hoping I'd get it. And my heart just
Which everyone
sank.
does from an audition, I mean.
I felt so bad. And I was like, oh, this really sucks.
Because throughout the week while you're waiting for those results,
I'm thinking,
you were practicing that autograph, right?
Not the autograph. No, not the autograph. I was just practicing, standing up there and doing again the 2-cabinet links and enjoying myself and getting to meet people and travel and things like that. And he said to me, he's like, I'm just joking. You got the job.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
So that was awesome for me. It was an educational youth program. So
I think we all remember Take 5. It was a popular show on the SABC many years ago. Back in the day for all of the people that are quite old.
I'm not that old.
So then, so Take 5 happens, and that's where, and I take it once you're with the SABC and you're doing the show, which is out there 4:30 in the afternoon, you're going to move on to other shows.
Yeah, definitely. But funnily enough, because the first year I was with Take 5, we were 4 presenters. It was one presenter that kept on from the previous presenters, and then it was 3 new ones, which was myself included. They did a whole launch and everything and all of that. And then I think the show also had come, it was sort of towards the end of Take 5 when I joined up. And the following year, they decided to go internal with the show itself. Then called me and said, "We want you on board, but you have to move to Joburg." And I was very nervous, but I did it. I packed my bags and I left Cape Town, and I went straight to Josie. And for that year, I learned there how to produce. I did a couple of productions where I was dealing with a topic of child-headed families. Which was just starting to come about, people talking about it, kids that are looking after other kids because mom and dad's not there, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Do you get through what everyone on TV gets through, and that is you start in television, but it's all about how do I present and how do I sound and what do I look like. And then when you get comfortable with that, it becomes about the content.
Yes.
What's the story? How do I tell the story? How do I expose the issue? Were you getting into it? Did you see that happening to yourself?
At that time I didn't, even though I was producing a little bit. It's more sort of as you get a bit older and you start getting a bit more comfortable with you
believe the mechanism of
confidence.
change is with media.
You
get involved,
and you start seeing that, and the minute you get into that, you start realizing, hey, but there's this other side to TV, and behind the scenes is actually cooler than being in front of the camera at times, because you get to drive your own content, you get to talk about your passions and what really gets you going, and with that you're able to inspire people as well, so it's double bonus.
Of course. So you're back in Cape Town. What happens with Take 5? The show ends?
So the show pretty much ended. I came back to Cape Town and decided to take a bit of a breather, then just realized I missed radio. Radio, I must say, is a very different medium to television, but I feel almost like it's always been a big passion of mine. So I wanted to get back into radio.
Why? Is it because you want to do what you want to do when you want to do it? And sitting behind the radio, I spoke to you the other morning when you were on air, and I heard you just switching on the mic, going on, coming back. Now you can't do that on TV.
You can't, but that's the whole thing. TV is a bit more, especially if you're doing pre-recorded TV, things are a little bit more planned and takes a bit more time. Live TV, which I've done for almost 3 years, that's intense. You got the director talking in your ear, you got to deal with everybody, and people are like, and you're just, hi there and welcome to the show. Exactly. And today we're going to be da-da-da-da, and you got to just be calm, and you're like, are you feeling comfortable? You still got to ask people questions off air because their eyes are going like this.
I remember doing this. I did this telethon many years ago on TV, and Ray Wilson was directing, and he was directing Felicia at the time, and I think Dali Dumbo, and he directs the show, and I've got the link in my ear, and I was open to listening to all the communications with camera guys and everyone else, and he is swearing one after the other, and he's telling me to keep smiling and just turn a little bit to your right, and then it's swear, and it goes again, and I'm like,
but that's exactly what it's like. And the fact that you can actually deal with it means you've got a multiple personality issue.
Yes. I think we split personality.
Pretty much,
it becomes that.
Definitely.
But so the television component has now become part of you.
Yeah.
It's a vehicle of change, and you've become that figure also. People know you from radio, television, and you've matured in the media industry. What did you tell your younger self? I always ask people this question. What do you tell your younger self now?
To not be so hard on myself.
Why does half the people say that?
Because
half the people tell me that when I ask that question.
Because you are your worst crit at the end of the day, and I think as a woman, I mean, not to bring the whole thing into perspective with the whole woman-man thing, but it is like that. As a woman, I think you tend to be a little bit more harder on yourself. And I always wanted to show everybody I'm like one of the dudes, you know. And I should have just been a girl and just enjoyed who I am and just chilled out a little bit more. So yeah.
But who are you now? And I'm
Me
asking
now?
a question from a certain perspective. Who are you now after you you go out and you get used to the idea of people asking for the picture and can you just quickly sign here quickly? You get used to all of that, but you realize afterwards that that component is not the true fame. The true fame is the things that you do when people come to you and say,
thank you.
You changed this in my life. That's the true fame. It's not signing the autograph. That's just my perspective. I don't know if you're experiencing the
I
same
have
thing.
experienced that as
But
well, yeah.
So one becomes a bit agitated and out of place when people ask you for the other things. That's where I've kind of hit it. But I don't know about you. But who are you now from the point of view that, do you see yourself as this person that goes out that's able to make that difference by what you do? Or is it still about, because when you get in television, it is a bit about you. You know what I'm saying? And you lose that after a while. That goes. That just
what can I
goes.
wear? Who
Yes.
can I wear?
Correct,
Yeah.
You end up wearing what you just want
I
to
think
wear.
I think right now I've taken a huge step back into myself, which is not a bad thing. It's helped me to be a bit more confident. I'm a bit more mature, as you said. But not just that, it's like I've always had respect for people. I mean, I grew up in a very humble home. My father always said to me, now that you're in the business, don't forget where you've come from, who you are, and always remain humble, especially when you're dealing with different types of people all the time. But I think more a deeper inner respect for myself and a feeling now that, yes, I can effect change because I am a little bit more confident and I believe more in myself than what I did before. I think we all reach that stage. Sorry?
That line, remain who you are.
Yeah.
Do you think that as you go along in the industry, as you've gone along, do you believe that's something that you tap into more as you're going along? It's remaining who you are.
You can lose yourself. I almost lost myself. I wanted to, I remember my father telling me those words, but I got very swept up by everything. And I found myself wanting to be like her, and you kind of start targeting people out there that you think you're supposed to be like.
But that's a stressful situation because
it's very stressful, and it's not
someone
me.
else.
It's not me. Exactly, it's not you. It's not who you are. And I found that on many occasions when I was doing that, I even had a friend once come to me and she said to me, "You got to stop this now. This is not who you are. You've always said you were never going to be like this, and you're becoming just like that." And that was a huge, sort of shell shock for me.
The defining
Brought
moment.
me right back down to earth. And I was like, oh, that's never going to happen. And since then, I've just practiced being myself, which is pretty easy.
Did you ever notice that when you are just being natural on TV and being yourself, that people connect with you more easily
yes.
than you're trying to put on this other facade and people
Yeah.
are just sitting there saying that they cannot connect with you. And the reason they cannot connect with you is because you're someone else.
Exactly.
And they connect with you when you are yourself.
You are yourself.
So I'm happy that you kind of got into that. But I mean, the fact that you're a matured media practitioner by now, the radio side, I know that you sometimes enjoy the radio side for various reasons, but do you see that going 1 or 2 steps higher from where it is right now? I know that you're with 2000 right now.
Yeah, I would like it to. I think we all are always wanting to achieve more, be better, do more, and I still feel very strongly that one day I'm going to have my own, radio talk show. I find radio shows with talk much more fascinating at times than listening just to the commercial radio stations. And it's another great way of connecting with people, and that's really important to me.
Here we're going to go on a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about that new show you've got starting with us. Kia Johnson, about some of her history and her entry into the market space for media. When we come back, we're going to talk about the new show coming up on Dean TV called Live with KJ. Okay, just taking a quick break there. Can we come back from the break? I want to just...
Was that a bit too much?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you now go to a break when I can't get you to alter content. Okay, no, it's fine. I'm joking.
Was I saying
I'm
wrong
joking.
stuff? No.
I'm joking. Okay, can we just come back from that one? Welcome back from the break. Now, before the break, we chatted to Kia Johnson about her life in the television business and that in radio. Now she's got a show coming up with Dean TV called Life with KJ. Kia, welcome back.
Hi.
Now, Life with KJ. Now, KJ is Kia Johnson.
Yes.
What's Life with KJ going to be like? That's what our viewers is going to ask.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the title, hey.
No, I don't want to talk to your husband about that. Our viewers want to know what it's going to be like.
Oh my goodness. I'm sure you'll have a lot to say about that.
No, he did the other day at the function, yes.
Well, for me, I think the thing that you must never forget is that when you get into media and when you get into, this type of industry and type of field, that you do create a bit of a following after a while. And I found that a lot of the fans, like you said, keeping that sort of like interpersonal connection with them and just being who you are, have resonated more with me as me. And Life with KJ is an extension of myself, but not myself as in like keeping up with the Kardashians, not like that type of.
You know what? My personal opinion about that kind of thing, must be honest with you, I hate it.
Yeah,
no,
but that's what I'm saying.
Stuff.
It's not like that. Yeah.
I'm not sure if the South African audience is there at the moment. I think it's a very American audience that watches what the Kardashians do. I don't even know what they do. I don't know what they look like, I must be honest with you. That's how bad it is.
But a friend of mine said maybe the aliens from outer space, but that's another story for another time. For me, Life with KJ is just what's happening.
Almost said you're going to say Life with the Kardashians.
It's just, it's every day. I find that there are so many different things that are taking place. A lot of news stories that I come across because of, I work on Radio 2000 as well. So I'm every morning scanning the papers, taking a look at what's going on, especially within the Cape Town sort of province. And there's just so much that's happening at the moment that I think really breaks my heart. Really, really hurts at the end of the day. And for me, it was just almost like a little struggle between myself, like how am I going to stop this? And it's almost like I feel the sense of personal responsibility, not just to my fans, but to people out there, that I have this name, I have this platform, what am I doing to actually be different? What am I doing to try and create change, positive change within other people's lives? So Life with KJ is not hanging out in my passe and all of that. It's actually, topics and issues that are relevant and current to what's going on in our lives. Many different stories. I don't want to talk too much about that because I'll be giving a lot of the show away. Many different stories that have hit the headlines in a good way, maybe not in not such a good way, but taking from those stories and trying to learn our life lessons, and trying to just change things, like I said, for the better, for the positive. How do you go about doing that? So I'm hoping that Life with KJ is going to be very inspiring, very motivational, and it's going to give people a little bit more of a solution finding type ground where, I'll be showcasing sung and unsung heroes. So people that we know within, our communities that are creating that change, and people that are getting that notoriety and people that are not.
Is that for the focus of when you support someone else and when you expose their story, we might get viewers that buy into that and support those people?
Yeah.
So there's this recurring factor that goes on all the time.
Exactly. And this week we could be dealing with some uprising that's happened in a certain community because of, anything that has happened at that point in time, or it could be to do with a personal issue. Now that I find, because I've been talking to people about the show that's going to happen, so many people are saying to me, but I know of this little Oma, then she goes to her car every single Sunday and she goes and she gives, of her time to these people. And it's just people going out there that are giving of themselves in many different ways. It doesn't have to be about money. Not everything is about money. Not everything is about material things. There are people out there that are using their spirit to try and elevate others, and that's actually what I want to be showcasing. So Life with KJ as it happens.
Of course. Do you think that going forward, that the content on the show, for example, would take a balance between things that are really hardcore at the moment and hardcore issues, or are there things that are sort of on the surface level of humanitarian aid, perhaps? I think maybe to give us an example of what we expect to see there.
Okay, so I'll...
Just one.
Okay, well, there was the recent stabbing of a boy in Atlantis. Well, it's actually quite a couple of weeks ago, where a 13-year-old boy stabbed a 14-year-old boy in the Atlantis community in the Western Cape. Very, very sad story. And that already is putting the community in such a light, in such a negative light. And for me, it was like, but that has happened, yes, and that is current, yes, and yes, we are going to talk about that. But what is going on in Atlantis that's positive? So I've got 3 women who I'm going to be interviewing, and I'm so excited at the moment. One lady, I won't mention the names right now, but she's got a center for abused women and children, and she's trying to create positive change that way. The other interviewee that I have, she's actually going about making gardens within Atlantis just to bring some color into people's lives.
Correct.
And that's the kind of stories that I'm going to be
Do you see the show
dealing
getting
with.
actually involved in actual projects? For example, we understand that a component of the show is a social responsibility from your side.
Yeah.
But do you see the show getting involved in its entirety in a project? For example, the show underpinning perhaps a renovation of an old age home.
Oh, yes.
And managing that process and saying, this is what Life with KJ did.
Definitely.
Do you see that happening?
I see that happening. I hope it's going to happen very soon, because I think that so many people can get their hands on this and actually get that feeling that I get when I know I've just made it for somebody and made their day. So I'm hoping a lot of different entities will climb on board and try and assist. So yes, there will be that taking place, but it will be a whole range of different types of moments that's going to be happening like that. And perhaps other moments where, people can sort of jump in and help as an audience, help and interact and be a part of something that's happening within the community where someone's trying to make a difference. There's another lady that I'm going to be interviewing I'm very excited about. She's actually going to run for provincial elections as well, which is quite sweet. And she is just trying to do a lot of women empowerment projects. And she's done all her own funding. Now imagine, you are man alone and you are going out there dealing with big corporate clients, and you are trying to do that so that you can create that change within a woman's life. And that's also very close to my heart as well.
So these are stories that obviously one would stand as an example to many other people watching the program and inspire them at the same time. So I think that's the approach that you're going to be using.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of people wanting to get into television, doing what you do, and to be the next Kia Johnson. What's your advice?
Yeah.
What's your advice? I know I'm speaking to you like,
I can sound like I've left already.
You didn't want to give us your age. So one of the days we'll have this tribute to Kia Johnson on TV. But before we go to the tribute, what is it that you'd want people to know and the youth to know that could make their lives different, that you do differently? So I'm again asking that younger Kia Johnson, what did you do different?
I've actually taught TV presenting as well, and I found a lot of students. I understand that it's the industry and it's so exciting because it's media and it's TV and it's radio.
Wrong street, yes.
But but it's not. It's actually 90% hard work and perhaps 10% glitz and glam. And it's really difficult to make people understand that it's not that easy at all.
I have challenged people before.
I have had, when I was teaching, students I had one specific student come up to me and tell me that I mustn't tell him that because he knows what it's about. And I said to him, you don't understand. You could get that audition paper right now, and 5 minutes before you're about to audition, they're going to decide they're going to change all the wording.
Correct.
And you've got to learn it right there within 5 minutes.
Correct.
Because you've got to be able to think on your toes.
Correct.
So that's the one thing about this industry, thinking on your toes, but being passionate, I think very, very important. If you love what you do, it makes everything so much easier. And being unique. Do not try and copy and be somebody else. You will know who you are.
I want to come back to this other section you were talking about earlier. There is a severe misconception that television is an industry that is easy and you're just sitting on TV and talking away and doing what you do.
Like we're doing, having cups of tea now.
I don't think people realize what actually goes into it. It's a 24-hour business. It's around the country business, or rather around the world. It's dragging yourself at the time when you're extremely tired, and the only way that you don't look tired is because the makeup department helped you out.
Thank
for the
you, because I've been up since 4 a.m.
Exactly. So
yeah.
it's a 2-hour sleep at night for media practitioners. And if people cannot deal with that, then it might be the wrong industry to go in. But you're right in telling people outright that, you know what, it's good to be in media and in the industry, but at the end of the day, are you in for the hard work?
Are you in it for that hard work? Yeah.
That's what it's about.
And it's always about that. I hope they will take that with them, yeah.
Right. Why should we be watching Life with KJ? Last question.
Because it's going to add that bit of sparkle onto your day, because it's going to make you feel as if you have a bigger sense of belonging in this world, and because you can take from it and start spreading some goodness out there to others around you.
I got one thing to tell you from the channel side. You know that the show is 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Your show. Okay, so
yeah.
listen up. Because
Do you think I know I love talking?
I'm
Doesn't
so happy
mean
you're
that
doing
it's
the
going
show.
to be
You
like
don't need to
longer.
deal much with the script because I know you're going to roll it out. So that's fine. Kids, been nice having you. I think we're going to have you back just after the show starts. I would like to come on as a guest on your show soon, just to see what you're
I don't know,
up
I'm
to.
gonna, time is money, eh?
Exactly. I will send you
don't
the
know.
bill. I'll send you the bill for this
Yeah.
one. Here Johnson finally doing live with KJ on Dean TV, a show that you've got to see and got to catch up with us soon. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.